Check, check, check one, check two. This is it. Welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour. Cannabis Coffee Hour with your host, me, Rob Cantrell, here for episode 223. What it be now? Holy cow! Sounds so sweet, nothing complete. But this moment, now we're gonna show it. It's the Cannabis Coffee Hour, everybody. I got some great coffee. Welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour. That's the intro. How long can it go is usually the flow. But the flow today is I actually got some great coffee. This is the Atlas Coffee Club. No plug, just this is what I got. And I got love for my brother-in-law. Kevin hooked me up with the Atlas Coffee Club. I got some great coffee beans. These beans are amazing, and they're from El Salvador, and they're warm, and they're dark, and they're good. El Salvador is a study in contrast and harmony. Each of these Atlas Coffee Clubs, it's got this sick picture of El Salvador. Gold mountain, blue sky, lots of green, just a mountain. But here we go. This is each of these things have this postcard with a good reading, and I like to read about it. That's one of the things about the Cannabis Coffee Hour that I just like talking about coffee, and we'll talk about cannabis, we'll talk about comedy, we'll talk about life, talk about stretching, talking about music, talking about movies, talking about AI rap battles. We're gonna talk about friends' albums. I'm going to talk about comedy specials, my shows. But El Salvador is a study in contrast and harmony, familiar and uncanny, unique. Okay. Stroll through the black sand to white sand along endless coastlines and kayak in the shadow of volcanoes through inlets lined with gnarled mangroves. Oh wow. This is sounds like a wild place. I won't read the whole thing. But man, that does sound. El Salvador is Central America. I was checking it out on this map, and it's like El Salvador is like on the map. It's like below Mexico. But it's like between these two countries. I'm trying to say. Somehow I got on the flag of El Salvador. There's a Wikipedia, but I don't want to read just the Wikipedia. It's between Honduras and Guatemala. That's what I wanted to say. It's between Honduras and Guatemala. El Salvador, and these beans are from, and it's I don't really like dark beans, but this isn't dark. It was like slightly dark on the medium roast side, which I kind of was ready for, and I was questionable, but it does have a really cool, unique taste. That's the thing about having good coffee from other countries. It's like the same but different, which is one of my favorite phrases, and I heard it a lot when I was traveling in Southeast Asia in my 20s. But same, but different. When you go to different countries, everything's same, but different. But yeah, I was checking out, I've been listening to Franklin Tower by the Grateful Dead. And I wanted to check out the lyrics. See if they'll come up. There we go. Franklin Tower lyrics. This song is great. It's on the album Blues for Allah. Oh shit. In another time forgotten space, your eyes looked from your mother's face. Wildflower seed on the sand and stone. May the four winds blow you safely home. Roll away the dew. All right. I'll tell you where the four winds dwell. In Franklin's tower, where there hangs a bell. It can ring, turn night to day. It can ring like fire when you lose your way. That thing, yeah, I read that line. I thought that was amazing. That song is cool, man. I've been listening to that. I've been watching the movie Some Like It's Hot, which is this classic black and white movie. And it's, yeah, man, watching old movies now is such a trip. It's like, I don't know, I can't highlight. I'm looking at other old movies to watch too, black and white. It's just so simple. Like art design is like just one dude, music like one person. You know, it's just like this like 1950s black and white films. It's like 7 actors, produced by yeah, it's just great writing. I guess it's just like this 1930s gangster jazz trio, and they get wrapped up with the mob, and then they have to dress like women, and they hang out with Marilyn Monroe. It's an amazing film, but I was just like, whoa, you could. I mean, it's. But all the sexual stuff is like innuendo, and just to watch it nowadays, it's like wild. But yeah, I would check out Franklin Tower, the movie Some Like It's Hot. I've been pumping some Alan Watt by night. Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Alan Watt. I've been listening to a lot of Grateful Dead. I've been listening to a little bit of DC Go-Go. But speaking of DC Go-Go, my friend DC Benny, this comedian, just released a special on his YouTube channel. And he's an amazing comic. And he was like one of the comics that I always loved from the start of getting introduced to New York stand-up comedy. He's hilarious. Check out his new special. I've been checking that out. I guess those are the couple things that I've been listening to. I did a couple different shows this week. I did a show where there was an AI rap battle. That was amazing. The AI rap battle. And that was in a show in Williamsburg. And it was just the other Wednesday night. My friend Harmon Leon, shout out, he's done the podcast before. And Todd Modise have this show at Crystal Lake in Williamsburg. Which is a really cool bar. I've done shows there before. And yeah, it was just great. They had an AI rap battle, and there was a female rapper. I forget her name, but she was great. She could flow, and she took on a Jay-Z chatbot, and it was hilarious. But the real person, just to let everybody know, the real person beat the hell out of the chatbot, the Jay-Z chatbot, G-Chat. It was fucking hilarious. The AI had good flow, but it just was too programmed, and it was too. You could tell it wasn't authentic. Off the dome. Nothing in AI is off the dome. But I was thinking about old movies, and I mean AI. AI just is a professional biting machine. It just steals shit and reposts it. Original thought. Hopefully that's what the Cannabis Coffee Hour. A little bit of But when you think about trying to be original, you're not original. But I do like to have notes, and I've been I've been counting. This podcast, it's 223. I love doing this podcast. Yes, indeed. But I was talking to a friend about outdoor movies and seeing flicks outdoors. And I think that's so wild. I thought about that right before, because I was watching this old movie, And yeah, it's great. But my friend said he saw it outdoors, and I've seen a couple flicks outdoors, and it's always a wild, cool experience. Um, I just said yeah, I've seen a bunch of, they would show old movies in all these parks in New York. So I saw a bunch there. I can't really think of which ones right now, but I just think that experience of being like checking out a movie outdoors is because you go to the movies, you're supposed to be indoors, and then you're outdoors. I don't know, indoors, outdoors. What is it all? What is it all about? Um, I like being indoors, but I also like being outdoors. And I love drinking this coffee. I was drinking Stumptown coffee. Now I think I got it down to just a Chemex for the full day, and so this is like midday. This is not midday. I'm at noon, so I'm gonna have a cup of coffee, and this is like the last cup. And I've been doing shows every night, so I haven't been. I mean, I've been the last few nights I've been conking out just from being tired. But yeah, I did the AI rap battle show, and then I also did Pete's Candy Store for my buddy Samir's birthday. That was so much fun. Shout out Mookie Thompson and Yoni and the whole Pete's Candy Store crew. That was just fucking sick. Yeah, Nassim, Samir Nassim. I mispronounce stuff all the time, but I'm getting better, and I'm trying to be more conscious. Um, that's the thing about doing stand up. I have to like get the words right, and it's you just go off on a riff. But he has a great show. Zamir Nassim um, has a great show at Pete's Candy Store, 10 o'clock on Wednesday, and it's one of my favorite shows. That's where I taped my album, my last one, Pure Uncut Joy, which is on iTunes and not on Spotify. But yeah, that was a fun. I love that doing that show so much. I taped the album there, and so it's like one of my favorite. If you're ever in Williamsburg and want to get a drink or see some bands or maybe a comedy show at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday, check out Pete's Candy Store and check out Zamir. Um, yeah, I was listening to some Jerry Garcia in an interview in Portland, and he was talking about playing underneath the Sphinx, you know, outdoors. I've done some stand up outdoors. Shout out to Full Circle. Those guys, that was the last show I did in Prospect Park. I did like a couple shows in Prospect Park. I don't mind doing outdoors. I always love performing. So check out my calendar. I'll put some new shows up. I haven't put up any of the New York shows, but I think I will because I'm getting booked on some of these shows. And if you're in New York, you could come check me out because I have been evolving and changing up my stuff, and I always play all these different weird spots, and usually they're pretty cheap. I haven't been to El Salvador, but they're doing stand up everywhere. So that's why, I'm still at it. It's like it's so expanding because of all these Netflix, and I know how to do it. I just have to stay healthy and drink lots of water and roll away the dew and get some sun on my face down at El Salvador. Watch some more old movies, drink some more nice coffee, and definitely drink some water. If you're ever having cannabis and coffee, you definitely need to have some water. Shout out water. Um, it is June 16th. Yeah, it's wild that we're going right into summer, but I'm loving it. I'm rocking shorts right now. I'm wearing pink t-shirts. I'm wearing white t-shirts outside with shorts. That's always good. That's a good feeling. Walking in the sun, getting some rays every day. Um, yeah. Besides that, I've been loving this Jurassic 5 song. The thing about Jurassic 5, if you want to listen to some really good hip hop, these guys can rhyme on beat. Um, and they have a style and flow that is classic, that does make you feel good. But they also just, I don't know. This one is, I don't know, if it's by Heavy D, and it's a beat the way we do, and it's the beat of the White Stripes of that one song. Boom, boom. One of those songs. In the way we do, and it has that piano riff. That's the thing about the White Stripes. The drumming was awesome. Meg White, the sloppy drumming, and then the keys, the piano keys. I've been listening to that. I've been listening to some Tibetan sound bowls. I've been meditating. I've been doing 20 minutes before cannabis. I'll have some coffee. I definitely, it's just like water with two capfuls of vinegar in the morning. And then I try to wait like an hour, but I make coffee in the Chemex, and that takes time. And then I just let it run, because then I want to make my banana peanut butter, turmeric, cinnamon, almond milk ice, um, blended drink. And then with that, it's away we go all day, every day. That's my morning routine. But yeah, I've been doing some alms in my meditation. I've been listening to these Tibetan bowls, like just the blind out, or yeah, it just vibrates bad vibes. Um, but yeah, shout out DC Benny has an album coming out. Um, yeah, and I was listening to that thing with Jerry Garcia. It was just a little bit eavesdroppy. I don't know. It was I don't know it, because people were like doing hard drugs in the background and stuff, and it's like it's just this crazy random interview from the '70s. But he does talk about the Sphinx and playing underneath the Sphinx, which sounded awesome. I listened to the last week's episode, and I did love that I talked about movies. And then I watched the movie, and that was a good assignment. I need to do that with books. One book a week and one movie a week. That would be pretty ill. I need to write that idea down for the show. Here we go, everybody. Remember to subscribe to the Cannabis Coffee Hour YouTube. That helps everything. But one book, one movie a week. I got a quarter of a movie this week, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I'll watch the rest of it. But I'm doing editing. I'm going out. I've been doing shows every night. I'm just trying to put together a new hour and put that out. That's the gig. And I'm just figuring out how I want to present it, and put it out there. Because I just do love performing, but I haven't put out anything since my last music album, which is Caffeinated Dope Rhymes, which is another coffee influenced project. Shout out to Atlas Coffee. Shout out to my brother-in-law. Shout out to Stumptown. Shout out to Kirkland's. Shout out to all the truck stops out there that serve coffee. All the offices that got coffee. They need to listen to Caffeinated Dope Rhymes, my music album, that I am very proud of. Maybe I'll put a song on here for this one. It could use a little bit more music. Maybe I'll put a beat underneath that one. Um, yeah, I just been doing mad stretches. I've been watching movies. I've been meditating. I've been drinking coffee. Um, Cannabis, I have not been having that much cannabis. Just a little bit of edibles now and then. Um, but I haven't been smoking for the last week. So I don't know. Maybe the next. I was thinking about maybe doing like a month off cannabis or coffee. I wonder if I could take a month off. I mean, it's a lot of it is like with cannabis coffee. It's like my last vices. And a lot of the meditation that I'm having is like letting go. You have to let go, and but I do love coffee and I do love cannabis. I'm not letting go of this podcast anytime soon. And I like doing the live episodes. And I love doing the YouTube and setting it up and putting it out there. And I love tasting the coffee and tasting the cannabis. I'm just finishing the cup, but I'm thinking like I'm kind of a little anxious on this episode. I didn't get it out this week. I've been recording. I've been dropping them on Friday, which is fine by me. You know, I think the gig is Thursday or Friday. We'll come out with the episode audio, and then I'll just gather my troops up and figure out how to do the next couple live ones because I always love doing that and getting a couple sponsors on board. I've been talking to some people. I almost got this really cool interview from a great cannabis company this week, but I just wanted to get a quick one out there and talk about this great coffee that I'm drinking, the El Salvador. Tell you to check out my live shows. Check out my website with my live shows. I'll put up dates up there very, very soon. Yeah. And all my friends are putting out specials, so check out DC Benny's special. Drop an Drop a on me, baby. Yeah, being quiet. Been listening to a lot of Eckhart Tolle. So now I'm doing a podcast about being quiet. Oh shit. How long could I do it? But yeah, just been stretching. I did a happy baby today for a good about a minute and a half. It was amazing. Great time. Been trying to write some rhymes. You can check out. Maybe I got some music in me. Like I've been just listening to all that Jurassic 5. I've been listening to the Ramones. I've been doing all these shows in the Lower East Side. Well, every time I go there, like New York, the whole thing is like the stuff that I'm meditating on now is like every day is a fresh slate. Like you need to look at every day as like its own energy. And then going moment to moment. That's what I have on my mindful moments. It was today that you can always go inside. And in that moment, I guess that's what the meditation has been teaching me, is just to be more conscious. And I never knew what that really meant. But it just means about paying attention to the moment. So that's when I sometimes get in my head with doing the podcast. But because you have to kind of let go. So I just got to pump some green Tara mantras. I got 2 hours of a green Tara mantra. I'll put on like for 10 minutes and then I'll put on Foo Fighters Monkey Wrench in Guilford, New Hampshire. And then, I don't know, some of these. The thing is, you got to watch out for your content. But the stuff that I'm listening to right now is all like Allman Brothers. And then I do have some Despot, House of Bricks. Now that's a great rap tune. Like him and that homeboy Sandman go hard. Like there is really good lyrical hip hop out there. Shout out to hip hop being 50 years old. Shout out to me being 50 years old. Shout out to everybody growing older. You're always growing older. They always say you're either too old or too young. That's what I've been tripping out on. There's always something. That's why going inward and being in the moment, because you like create all these. You know, you can't even listen to the influences are weird. These are my influences. I got some good ones, but maybe everybody thinks they have good influences. Oh man, I'm just bumming out. This is like the last sip of this coffee. I won't make more. This is like dark, rich coffee, and it's got me really kind of jacked up. It's really strong. I made it really good. I definitely like, if you're going to make coffee, make it good. That's how I see it. If you're going to smoke herb, make it good. I definitely like the legal spots the best. New York is just in a weird situation right now. It's like exploding everywhere. It's getting there's shops everywhere in New York, and I guess that's like half of the country. And psychedelics is going so mainstream. It's really kind of this weird, exciting time. Like everything could heal. There's all this. I mean, I think that's why it's always like that. That's what I love about doing all the meditation and stretching. There's always been drama, but it's all new. But some of the old vibrations are great. If you want to check out some of my old tracks, I got a bunch of hip hop. There's under my music, under my YouTube. I got it down to like music and stand up, like boom, boom. So check those all out. I like doing recorded music. I do. I've been playing my. I listened to last week's episode. I don't know, man. I don't know. The guitar and then the beat didn't really sync up. Like they both kind of worked, but they weren't. That's what's punk rock about this. The Cannabis Coffee Hour, and that's the thing I always kind of respected about podcasts. Like you do have to just do it quickly and efficiently if you're going to do it weekly. Like this is 223 episodes every week. I've been getting on the mic and giving it all I got and having the best time doing it. I'm having the best time every moment of the day. That's the thing when you like start stressing out and doing all these like negative thoughts throughout they carry over, and then like you don't think they're there, but then I guess being conscious, you're like you kind of figure out like whatever you're thinking, that's kind of like building your future. And starting with karma is like just being good in the moment. And I think that's what music is, like mantras to people. Music is like Tibetan bowls. Everybody has their own Tibet. Sometimes heavy metal. They said that's what I've documented with this podcast, and something that I always thought was fascinating was dudes loving heavy metal, and it's so aggressive and so crazy. But there is like a compactness to it. Like it kind of brings people's stress level down, which is, I mean, I think music is just mantras. And I think maybe you tap into a young mantra and then it kind of is like a shot of coffee listening to heavy metal music. I do. I was listening to this great, I always like to listen to the Melvins. And then they recommended this great Van Halen song that I've never heard before. But I remember the album. I always liked Van Halen. Everybody likes Van Halen. Everybody loves Eric Clapton too. But he said so much wild thing. He got so much negative press during the pandemic. I was like, there's always like these cats out there. With politics and media and what people latch on to. A lot of it's like letting go. Yeah, I'm listening to this Eric Clapton through a lot of I have through the Grateful Dead. I've been listening to a lot of Beatles, Been listening to a lot of the Chipmunks, a lot of Little Desk. The internet's a trip. It's the biggest influence, but I think everybody's kind of turning away. I saw something at that AI rap battle. Um, I don't know. I'm sure it's all different than what we think it's going to be. That's what's kind of trippy. And you can't really fight technology. That's never worked. So I guess it's kind of like, I don't know, we reflect whatever's going to come out. So maybe it's a good way of looking at ourselves in some way. I don't know. I'm just glad to have a big jug of water right now. Doing a whole podcast, man, you need some water. Clean water. Look at that. I think I was talking. It's already in there. A song's called Clean Water. I've said that on this podcast. Like, I think it's going to come down to like clean air and clean water. Where can you go? There's so many places everywhere, and everybody wants to run to these big cities. It's wild. And I can't say anything. I'm in a big city. I'm in here too. But one day I think I want to go out. I love it outdoors. Maybe I'll move away from New York. But right now I love it. I love getting out there and doing some stand up and drinking some coffee and doing podcasts. And it's just staying alive. Staying alive. Staying alive. Staying alive. I'm drinking El Salvador coffee. I'm doing shows at the Eastville Comedy Club. Shout out to them on Atlantic Avenue. I saw Seton Smith. Shout out to him. He's going on tour with the Strokes. I forgot to talk to him about it. He was in and out. But yeah, just being outside. I'm still not over being the pandemic, and then doing stand-up comedy and doing a podcast all during it and documenting it. I don't know. Maybe I need to go back and listen to it. I mean, I've been looking at the YouTube page. Please sign up to the Cannabis Coffee Hour YouTube page because it's awesome. There's videos of me and Bill Burr talking. There's videos of me and DC Benny talking. There's videos of me and Joe Pera talking. There's me and Pat Brown, who I toured with Tracy Morgan on there, talking. That's all up on my YouTube page. I'm proud of that. Trying not to be proud. The thing is, you just got to work. And then you try to evolve. And then you try to get better. And by getting better, you got to be more and more honest with yourself. You can't just rely on AI and sound bowls. You got to go out there and make it happen. Rapping, snapping. That reminds me of my song, Rub My Feet. I guess I've been tired, man. I've been doing shows every night, trying to get this, but it's been going well, like getting this new hour together. So I'm talking to this company about doing a one-man show. So that's the other thing. I don't want to put out but maybe I need to put, this is just for the hardcore 40-minute in Cannabis Coffee Hour people. I'm going to try to thinking about putting together one-man show. I've never done that before, but I've done all these weird theaters, so it may work. You just got to do it. I've been trying to get out of my comfort zone a little bit. That's where I kind of wrestle with, but I've been good about like not doing cannabis, like going like 3 or 4 days, and I have been dreaming and having dreams, which are always wild, and very vivid. After you stop doing it, they scare you almost. But no, dreams are trippy. Absolutely trippy. Whole life is trippy. Every moment's trippy. That's what's like going back to the moment. Anytime you're like freaking out, you can go back to the moment, go inside your heart, because that's really all it is your presence. And in not thinking about it and letting go and just being the observer is what I'm kind of figuring out with all the coffee and cannabis and meditation. I haven't done any psychedelics. Maybe we'll have to do that on this show down the line. I'm still figuring it out, but while I figure it out, please sign up to the Cannabis Coffee Hour. I think we're all trying to figure it out with cannabis and how it fits in society, and that's what what will be visually fascinating going out in New York and shooting some of this. Like I'm looking at this record store, Scorpion Records, so I may do some video from there soon. I talked to them. I don't know if they got a coffee maker, but I can bring my Chemex. All I need is some heat and a kettle. We'll make it like moonshine. Coffee is the new moonshine. All the small coffee beans, they're all from all these different places. But the two places in America that you can get coffee beans are Puerto Rico and Hawaii. So I definitely need to do some, I'm going to do all kinds of crazy episodes. This episode, I'm having some Atlas coffee. I'm doing solo on a mic with a fucking yoga mat and a book pack I've been taking my camera out and shooting more, and I've been talking to some friends about shooting some more short films. So that those are the kind of things that I'm leaning in on. Stand up is great, but you also I don't know. I got all kinds of different projects and writing and everything. I guess I got to file it in a little bit to figure out. What I have figured out is that I love doing this podcast. And even on the times when it's kind of hard, you got to keep going. So I guess with that, everybody, peace and love. Peace and love. Peace and love. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you to the universe. Thank you to your mama, your dad. Thank you to the sun, the sky, the moon.